This video will discuss how to use all your FTS indexers for searching. The steps outlined in this video are from the knowledge article listed at the top of the screen and will allow you to distribute the FTS search across all indexer servers. We'll review two options, using a load balancer and manual load balancing without an actual load balancer. The load balancer option allows you to distribute the load evenly based on rules, but does require additional hardware, while the manual load balancing option does not require additional hardware. Assuming that your indexer servers are working properly and that your user-facing servers are connecting fine and are able to search properly, this is a fairly simple process. If your indexers are not all in sync or become out of sync, your end users could get different results depending upon which AR server they connect to. If they're not very similar, you might want to look into that before using this method. See the What to Do if your indexes become out of sync section of the knowledge article for additional information. So if you want your load distributed evenly from all of your user-facing servers, you can put a load balancer between your AR servers and your FTS Searcher plugin servers. The diagram on this slide demonstrates the load balance configuration. If any searcher is down, the load balancer redirects traffic. If the plugin is busy, AR server redirects starting with the servers ranked 1, 2, or 3 until one is available. So in order to configure for this, you'll have to configure the load balancer to redirect traffic to the FTS plugin servers using the correct plugin port. You can also configure a failover group so that if a plugin server is unresponsive, it automatically routes to a different plugin server. You will need to set each user-facing server so that the FTS points to the load balancer instead of the actual FTS plugin servers. This can be done via the FTS configuration page by changing the value of the indexer server name on all user-facing servers to a name that resolves to the load balancer. You will need to restart the user-facing servers for this setting to take effect. Once this is done, all FTS and global searches should be distributed evenly across the group of FTS ranked servers. Since you are adding a load balancer that can fail over and FTS already has failover capabilities, it's important to understand how they will work together. If one AR server terminates, the correlated FTS plugin server will also terminate. In this case, the load balancer will not forward requests to that server, but will send the request to another FTS plugin server that is still available. If one of the FTS plugin servers has terminated or is in a state that it cannot respond, the load balancer may still forward a search request to it. In this case, the AR server will reroute the request based on the FTS ranking. It will try to send the request to the first ranked FTS server. If this happens to be the server that is down or is down for some other reason, AR server will then reroute the request to the number 2 rank FTS server and so on until one is available. If the load balancer happens to route the search request to an FTS plugin that is currently busy performing a reindex, the AR server will reroute the request based on the FTS ranking. Each API call goes through this process, so just because one request went to an unavailable server does not mean that the next one will. Each call will follow the process just mentioned. So using manual load balancing, this can be done by changing the value of the indexer server name of each user-facing server to an individual FTS server's plugin server. The screenshot on this slide demonstrates the configuration of FTS pointing to a specific FTS plugin server on each user-facing server. If any server is down or busy, AR server redirects based on rank, starting with 1, 2, or 3 until one is available. So you will modify the indexing server name on each of the user-facing servers so that it points to the specific indexing server. You'll do this via the FTS configuration page, and then once complete, you'll need to restart any AR servers that you modified for the changes to become active. You've now distributed your FTS and global search requests across your FTS indexer servers. One thing to be aware of is if you have an indexer server go down for some period of time, such as performing routine maintenance, you may have a situation in which the FT pending jobs for a single server are piling up. When you bring that server back up, it'll take time to catch up, but because that server has become available, searches will still be performed, giving inconsistent results to the end users. It's best to prevent users from searching on this indexer until it's caught up, and as mentioned earlier, please see the What to Do If Your Indexes Become Out of Sync section of the knowledge article for more information. On this page, you will find several references for knowledge articles pertaining to FTS. You can refer to the first article for additional information on using all FTS indexers for searchers. And the remaining article contained information on FTS configuration best practices. Thanks for watching this video on how to use all your FTS indexers for searching.